Imagine a world where you are not the only human in the room. Picture yourself 45,000 years ago, trekking through the permafrost of a glacial Europe. You see smoke rising from a cave. As you approach, the figure that emerges isn't a wild animal, nor is it a member of your tribe. This being is shorter, barrel-chested, with a heavy brow and eyes that burn with an intelligence that feels uncanny. This is not a monster. This is a Neanderthal. Today, we stand alone. From the skyscrapers of Tokyo to the rainforests of the Amazon, every single person belongs to the species Homo sapiens. We've grown so used to being the only intelligent life on Earth that we've developed a massive ego. We call ourselves wise men, sapien, assuming our survival was an inevitable victory of brain over brawn. But for nearly 300,000 years, a span of time far longer than our modern civilization has existed, we were just one of several human experiments running simultaneously on this planet. What if the experiment never ended? What if the Neanderthals didn't vanish into the mists of prehistory? If they were still here, would they be our neighbors, our rivals, or our slaves? Today, we aren't just looking at fossils. We are looking into a mirror of a world that almost was. Before we can imagine their survival, we have to kill the caricature. Popular culture, from old cartoons to Caveman commercials, paints Neanderthals as knuckle-dragging idiots who couldn't figure out a door handle. Neanderthals were highly specialized survivors. Their brains were, on average, larger than ours. While volume doesn't always equal smart, their toolmaking, the Mousterian industry, was sophisticated. They used medicinal herbs, wore jewelry, and buried their dead with flowers. These aren't the actions of a dead-end species. These are the actions of a culture. So, why did they die out in our timeline? Most theories point to a numbers game. While Homo sapiens flowed out of Africa in massive waves, Neanderthals lived in small, isolated pockets of roughly 20 to 30 people. Their total global population was likely no more than 50,000, about the size of a small football stadium today. In our hypothetical scenario, we change one thing. The Neanderthals don't fade. They don't interbreed into extinction, where their genes are diluted into ours, and they don't succumb to sapiens diseases or climate shifts. They hold the line. In this alternate prehistory, the map of the world is a tense chessboard. As Homo sapiens migrate north into the Levant and the Mediterranean, they hit a biological wall. The Neanderthals, with their stocky frames and superior heat retention, own the tundra. In this world, we must assume a biological barrier prevents interbreeding. Perhaps a chromosomal mismatch makes hybrids sterile, much like mules. This creates a great divide. The Fertile Crescent and North Africa become the cradle of sapiens civilization, while the European peninsula remains the land of the others. In the Paleolithic era, survival was about calories. If Neanderthals stayed alive, they would have competed for the same megafauna, mammoths and woolly rhinos. This wouldn't be a world of peaceful coexistence. It would be a 10,000-year-long border war. Sapiens, with our projectile weapons, bows and atlatls, versus Neanderthals, with their heavy, thrusting spears designed for close-quarter ambush. We often think of prehistory as uncivilized, but this rivalry would have accelerated human innovation. To beat the strong men of the North, sapiens would have had to get even wiser, faster. Fast forward to the dawn of agriculture. In our world, the Indo-Europeans eventually settled Europe, but in this timeline, they find the continent already occupied by a different species. Modern Europeans, as we know them, would not exist. The people we identify as French, German, or British are a mix of Sapiens migrants. If Neanderthals held Europe, the Sapiens world would be centered entirely in the Middle East, Asia, and Africa. Before the era of modern biology, how would an ancient Egyptian pharaoh or a Persian king view a Neanderthal? They wouldn't call them Homo neanderthalensis. They would call them the earth shakers, the forest men, or the half-humans. History shows that sapiens are tragically good at dehumanizing each other. Imagine the horror of a Roman Empire equivalent that captures Neanderthals to use as living tractors or gladiators. Because they are a different species, the moral compass of the time might not even consider their suffering as human suffering. To understand the tragedy of this what if, we only need to look at our own recorded history. When British colonists arrived in Tasmania in the 1800s, they encountered a population that had been isolated for 10,000 years. The cultural and technological gap was used as a justification to treat the indigenous Tasmanians as something less than human. They were hunted and displaced until the last full-blooded Tasmanian passed away. Consider how we treat great apes today. Chimpanzees share 98% of our DNA. They use tools, solve puzzles, and feel grief. Yet we put them in cages or destroy their homes. If Neanderthals, who could talk and reason, existed, we would likely have spent most of history trying to prove they weren't really people, so we could take their land without feeling guilty. So, what is the point of this exercise? Is it just a fun what if for a Tuesday afternoon? No. It's a reminder that our status as the ruling species was a fluke of history. We are not here because we were better. We are here because we were more numerous and, perhaps, more aggressive in our social structures. If Neanderthals had survived, we would have been forced to abandon the idea that humanity is a single, narrow club. We would have had to grow up. We would have had to learn to share the planet with another mind, one that thinks differently, feels differently, but is just as valid as our own. The Neanderthals are gone, but their disappearance leaves us with a haunting responsibility. We are the last ones left to tell the story of the human family. If we couldn't handle a cousin species like the Neanderthals, how are we supposed to handle the diversity within our own species today? Survival is a team sport, but humanity is a choice. We can choose to be the wise men our name suggests, or we can continue the tribalism that likely drove our cousins into the shadows of history. The bones in the caves tell us they were here. The DNA in our cells tells us they are still a part of us. But the silence of the fossil record tells us we have a lot to learn about living together.